The worst run of form I think I've ever had in this game. And we survived the worst run of form I think I've ever had in this game. So take a look at this. This is my bad run of form. I'm guessing you've all been there at one point or another, but this was brutal for me. So this is the tail end of the season. So you're looking at Christmas time into January. So from mid-January, we then lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games out of 12, only drawing 2. Now obviously there's a few reasons for this. The biggest one being my squad are basically a League 2, League 1 squad in the Championship. So we're punching above our weight, bless our hearts. Another reason, I'm playing my League 1 expressive formation and style, trying to make it work with these lesser quality players against better quality players, and it's going a little bit tits up. This is when you need to be not so stubborn and you need to take a step back, have a look at it, work out what's going wrong. So the first stage is to have a look at what's been going wrong, and this is a little tool some of you may not know about. You'll go up to your team reports, click on analyst report, and you get this down here. Now if you go down to conceding and just highlight that there, it's going to show you a new screen. Get yourself over to goals, click goals, and you'll see this little tab here. Now look, I've got 40 goals going in and around this area of the pitch. Delving a bit deeper, you can see the goals. 49 are place shots, 16 are powerful shots, only 4 are headers, so I'm starting to think crosses aren't the issue. If I then click over to assists, this tells the bigger story. Assists, and here we go. So there you can see I've got 24 assists there from just outside the box in the central areas. So there's my big problem. I'm too open in the central areas. If you look further down, you can see assist types, through ball, 25 through balls. That's a hell of a lot. So what I get from this is that my defenders are sound when it comes to the ball in the air, getting crossed over, but they're getting a bit too exposed in these areas here. So I needed to tighten up a bit. On a side note, this page is great and underrated. A lot of people won't use it. They'll just get flummoxed as why the team aren't winning, what's going wrong. Get on this page and have a little deep dive into what your team are up to. You can even go to your scoring and see how you've been scoring. So if I got my assists, I can see I've got a decent spread of goals. There's not that many this season, but I've got a decent spread of goals from the middle and out left as well. Looking down there, 22 of mine are through balls, so it fits with the style of player we play. But it's a great little page. Get on it, analyst report. They'll tell you a load about your team. We got all that new information from the analyst report. We looked at it, we played a few games in comprehensive, and then we can start to see what we need to change. As we learned, the goals were predominantly coming in these areas here. We're getting too exposed with this 4-4-2 tactic that is really aggressive. So to correct that, when I was using this formation, I made a couple of little subtle tweaks that seemed to help. Now the first one, very subtle, we changed the role duty. So we had Danny Williams there, he was on support, meaning he'd start off a bit higher up, go into these areas now and again, but we simply switched that into a defend duty, meaning he's going to have more defensive responsibility and he'll sit more, hopefully breaking up a few of those moves there. He's not a defensive midfielder, he's still a playmaker, but he'll still be in and around those areas, an extra body. The other one was next to him, Ibrahim. Now he's on support, that stays the same, but the only thing we have done is we've added a player instruction, hold position. So rather than him getting a bit excited and going all over the place, he's going to hold his position, which he doesn't want to do, but it requires a player to remain largely in their assigned position and rarely deviate from it. So again, he's not going to leave that position there. It's another body in the middle, shutting down those movements. Coupled with those two, we've got our fullback on inverted, so he's going to be coming in here. So in theory, that was going to do the trick for the home tactic. Now away from home or in tighter games, we changed it completely and had a different formation. And here it is, rude awakening. Gone are the two strikers in this one. We need to be a bit more pragmatic and just accept the fact that we can't just bombard teams like we have done in League 2 and League 1. So in that area where we were getting exposed, especially away from home, we've now got a half-back. Now a half-back will start there, but he'll also sit in there. Extra bodies in between those two centre-backs, giving them some support. Because I do still like my full-backs to get up the pitch. So him dropping in there will just supply a bit more cover. Obviously that then means we've got a triangle of players in the middle there, 3 rather than the usual 2. So we've got more cover, more bodies in there, a bit more solid. It did mean a few role changes for a few other key players like Coyote. Normally got him an advanced forward, up front by himself. He's going to be a pressing forward, so he's going to buzz around, putting pressure on the opposition defence. Team instructions also changed on this one. Mentality was balanced so we could work the game out. Rarely did it go to positive. Shorter passing so we hold the ball a bit more and we're playing for set pieces because chance creation is going to be a little bit harder to come by in this sort of formation. Did the trick. So there's the run that made us do them changes. We've made the changes and our next period of games, a far better run. Let's have a little look. So we made the changes after the Fulham game when we got battered. The next game was Luton, which was huge because in our area, away from home, 1-0 win. Absolutely ideal. We started with a 4-4-2, but as you can see, we switched to the new away formation at the tail end of the game to close it out. Brighton, a 0-0 draw. Now Brighton are going to go on to win this league. So to draw with them, and they've got players that are worth 20, 25 million, that is a huge result. It's basically like Sheffield United drawing with City next week. A tight 0-1 loss against MK Dons, then a 1-0 victory against Derby, another tight defeat away to Birmingham, but you can see the defeats now are very tight and we're hardly conceding any goals, so it's doing the job. A big 1-0 win against Forest, and a 1-1 draw against Hull, who are way up the league again with really expensive players, and we closed out the season with a 2-0 win against Portsmouth. So that run there, since we made them changes, kept us up. The season is over, 46 games played, 46 hard games this time. You can see us down there in 18th position. To be fair, if you had offered me that at the start of the season, I would have snapped your hand off. It's interesting, it's so interesting because it's so chalk and cheese from the last 2 seasons where you've seen we've battered the opposition. This time it was a right battle. As I said earlier in the video, we're basically punching above our weight in this league with a squad that are nowhere near. There shouldn't be anywhere near this league. So to finish 18th is a right result. We won 14 games, I believe. Yeah, 14 games, drew 10, lost 22, which is the most we've lost, I think, if you combine our last 4 seasons together. We only scored 48 goals this season. Remember last season, 118? And we also conceded 74 goals, which is about the 6th or 7th worst in the league. You can see where the problems were, but hopefully now, doing all that analyst stuff, we've identified it and get us ready for the next season. That's how the league played out. We actually started the season not too bad. We didn't win in our first 3 games, but we only got a little run together there, little patches of 4 games without a loss. Defeats came regular, and there's a couple of games here, look, 0-5, 1-5. Alarm bells were starting to ring. Got scratched a couple of wins, but then another 1-4, 1-3. Goals were just too regular. I should have made the change way before I did. And as we just discussed, that's when that run came in and just obliterated. And we started to sink. We peaked as high as 9th for this season. 9th, I think it was, yeah. And then down we went. When we got to about here, we were starting to think we were going down. So them changes we just made saved us. We've got other stuff to work on in off-season. Look at this table here. This table is goals conceded from indirect free kicks. And we are the worst in the league. And by some distance, we conceded 13 goals from indirect free kicks. So this pre-season, I'm going to do a bit of work on that. I've always done work on, defending my corners, but maybe not so much on defending free kicks. So we need to come up with a plan for that in off-season. This screen, where we're usually dominating, we're nowhere to be seen. It shows how hard the season was. Apart from down in the corner there, stadium sellouts. News on that, we sell out our stadium because all our season tickets have gone. But they are working on a new stadium. We're rolling. The goal at the start of this was to get Darlow back into a stadium to better the one that put them in all this crap in the first place, the Globe Arena. We've started to build one. So player-wise, some of them are good seasons, some of them got a bit found out. Now if I just click on any player here, let's say El Mazzuni for example, there he is. Quality in the last season, wasn't he? Last season he clocked in, let's have a little look. 9 goals, 14 assists and a 7.4. This season, just the 3 goals and 3 assists. And he's rated basically a good player for most League 2 sides. So that is pretty much, that has been the problem. We've stayed loyal to them because we had to. and they're just not that good enough. So in off-season, we've got some work to do. Coyote had a great season though, bless his heart. Let me move my fat head. Coyote come up trumps of 18 goals in 46. Now 18 goals in a struggling team is very, very good indeed. His value's up to 1.7 mil. Big Josh is on the rise. Now it's never a good thing when your goalkeeper is one of your top 3 players of the season. James Trafford conceded 73 goals, which is a bucket load, but his average rating put him in at the 3rd, and he is a great player now. Look at his potential ability. He's touching 5 stars. He's going to be a worldie. His star rating, good player for League One. So he's still not quite there, but he's going to get there. 25 years old, good age, one to watch. We don't need a new keeper at least. So yeah, there were some good performances, some decent players, but in honesty, surgery is needed. Okay, so into pre-season we go, and we've got some big work to do. Player-wise, as you can see, I've took them off the ones that I feel like are going to need replaced. Basically, almost my entire midfield. Rowe's been class, Coyote's been class, don't need to change them. Despite my defence conceding all them goals, those 3 lads there have been great. McCallum's a new signing, came in for 40 grand on January transfer window. Really happy with him. I expect him to soar in value. Keeper, as we focused on, he's great. Gonna need a new right back. Now these positions, Williams, not quite ready. That was a loan player, he's going back. Half back, I need a specialist in there. My other possibilities are, I'm going to roll with these 2 tactics that we did all season, the 4-4-2 and the Rude Awakening, but I am going to look at a more aggressive version where these boys are going to be higher up if we can find the right players. So that's the goal. For now, we'll plan on this one. If we can find the right attacking players, we will get another formation lined up as well. So we're going to roll off 3 with an eye on making those 2, the Rude Awakening and the more aggressive Rude Awakening, making those the primary tactics. But as you can see, we've got a lot of work to do. We used the least amount of players in the league this season. We only used 21 players. Our squad tiny. I reckon 5 to 10 players are out of contract. We need at least 5 first 11 players. This is going to be busy.